help me get everybody seated?
I've led by example.
Yes, Don Zerlich is leading by example here. I know. That's my voice. I have your voice. We have a lot today, and I want to get you out of here by 9, but as we don't sit down and get started, that just gets more difficult. So I really, really appreciate everybody sitting down. You can stand up if you want. That's fine. Everyone's going to stand today. Okay, good. Good. You know, standing meetings actually are a lot more efficient because people aren't sitting. So they're like ready to go. All right. So my name's Mickey Marafino, and I'm currently the president of NRBBA. Today we have some business, NRBBA business to conduct because this is the last meeting of our fiscal year. So we need to elect the board of directors, and we have prepared a slate for you. It'll be a private election, so I have ballots here, and somebody can help me hand those out. So the here. And I need somebody to volunteer to count the ballots after and maybe collect the ballots. Somebody who's not on the board. Okay. Gary's going to do that. So when everybody has finished completing their ballot, they can give it to Gary and he'll count them. And we'll announce it at the end of the meeting. So the slate that has been prepared for your consideration is me as president. Bill Baird as secretary, continues as secretary. Bill's right over here. Hi, Bill.
Good morning.
Steve Goldstein will continue as treasurer. Steve's over there in the back. And then the board members are Tanya McKenzie, also in the back. Tommy Immer, Nicole Paliungas. She's going to have a new last name soon, and it's not I don't think it's as difficult or worse. Easier, yeah. Michelle Brown and Robin Garfield. Robin?
Oh, sorry.
So, if the membership agrees with the slate as presented, if someone could please make a nomination.
Can I?
No.
Board is just-
Todd?
I think this board looks like a good board, so I nominate this board as the slate.
Okay.
I second that.
And Arnett has seconded the nomination. So everybody has a ballot now. You can vote privately. And then when you're done, give it to Gary, who is sitting right there. We've also decided to add an advisory board. There are a lot of people who are interested in helping out but really can't make the time commitment to come to all of the board meetings. And so we've added a section where you can, if you're interested in being on the advisory board, you can add your name to that, and we'll give you a call and talk about it and all that fun stuff. Also, if you're not interested in the slate, you're welcome to put in any write-in nominations. Okie dokie. So, we have one board member who's rolling off because he's moving on to bigger and better things, and that is Don Zerlich. Thank you, Don. Don, if you want to come up for a second. Don has served on the board for 15 years, and Don was very responsible in putting together and making Walkabout a successful event, and we're very thankful for that, and also chairing Springfest and a whole bunch of other things. So we have a little thank you for Don.
Thank you. My goodness.
If you want to open that
Oh,
so
do
everyone
I?
can see what fun stuff you got.
Oh boy. Paper.
That's all. It's a keychain.
Yeah.
What was this for again?
Leaving.
It's a very lovely pen. Thank you very much. Do I have to open the card too?
Well, that's always a nice thing to do. It's always polite to open the card first, but we always like to open the present first, don't we? It's a thank you card for all of your dedication to NRBBA.
With gratitude. Thanks
Yes.
for 15 years. Thank you all who've signed it. Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. I've lived in Redondo Beach, worked in Redondo Beach since I moved in 1984. And there was a book like that, wasn't there? And I really like this area. I'm not necessarily pleased that I have to move out of it, but things change in your life. And I will always be thinking about the good things that exist here in North Redondo. And I hope you all continue to come back here and meet and look forward to improving the area, both physically, business-wise, etc., for the long term. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Where are you moving?
Long Beach. Bixby Knolls. So it's at least another segregated area, shall we say, that has its own attractions.
Including a girlfriend. So we are also at this point very, very thankful for the Galleria and the South Bay Social District for hosting us. And Lisa, I've got a little something for you. Lisa has to come to work super early on NRBBA.
I don't mind at all.
It's always very great. Please open it.
Oh, please open.
Yeah. So this is a gift for Jeff and Lisa and Stuart.
Oh, okay. Should I open the card?
You don't need to open.
Okay. I didn't know if it said anything special.
It says thank you.
All right. Okay.
I'm a really good rapper.
You sure are. I'm like, how do I unwrap this? Is this it? Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. We don't have all day. Okay. I know.
What could be?
Oh, just what we need. A
Oh, pointer.
Right. So now.
So it's for the model.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so now
Okay.
you can point to the little things that you're talking
Well,
about.
Stuart's got a new toy.
Yes.
Thank you. We will use it.
And thank you
Thank
very
you all.
much for letting us meet here. We
Of
love
course.
meeting here.
We love having you. So
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. So I would also like to introduce our coffee sponsor, Bill Baird, who's also our secretary. Do you want to come up and say a few words?
Oh, sure. Thank you all very much.
Stand right there.
Right here. I stand right here. Do I have to look at the camera?
You can if you want, but you don't have to.
Anyway, thank you all very much for coming, for being involved. Don, thank you very much for getting me involved in the neighborhood. A whole lot of apathy there, for normally because it all ran so smoothly, and so little of it affected me. And then now, as all of these things come on, just so you know, I'm a sleazy realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and well, yeah. I'm just going to tell you, do not sell your house, okay? I know that sounds counterintuitive for a realtor, but I just wanted to give you some information here. Just so you know what your neighborhood's worth. Right now, the average single-family house that's sold in the 90278 zip code, last week the average sale price was $4,425,000.
Wow.
That's 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and 4-bedroom, and all the new construction. $1,425,000.
1 million.
1,425,000 so far. Yeah, now for the townhome condos, which was a whole new concept for me when I came out here from Rhode Island, in the 90278 zip code because of the new construction all being over $2.4 million. Average townhome was $1,598,000. $1,598,000.
Are you saying that those townhomes on 190th Street are all going for over $2 million?
They haven't
Foundry.
sold yet, Don.
The
See,
Foundry.
They have to sell before
I
I do
heard the
that.
new ones are 1.2. That's what I heard.
At the
I
Foundry?
did the tour.
You did the tour? Anybody want to guess what average lease is? Just what, if you were leasing a house here?
4,000.
What size house?
What's that?
4,000.
What size?
It, all of them. This is just an
Average,
average.
average.
Yeah, whether it's 2, 3, 4, or 5, wouldn't matter.
4,500.
Yeah, there you go. How about $5,478?
Wow.
That's if you want to rent here.
So that's why we shouldn't sell our house, we should rent
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Or to move out of, we're right here.
If you decide to sell your house, call me. I will change your mind. Depending on where you're going. You know, if you're staying in the South Bay, it's a whole different story, or if there's something else. But for $5,400 average rent, no matter where you went in the country, you could lease a place and live there. Just make sure. I had one client that was going back to Kansas just because the family issue and everything else, and I said, when was the last time you were in Kansas? Well, 35 years ago. I said, well, when was the last time you shoveled a driveway? 35 years ago. I said, why don't you go rent and find out what it's like to shovel a driveway today? You know, now that they're 70 years old instead of, 40, where you could do that kind of thing. Anyway, I'm just telling you that probably the best financial decision you ever made is if you could do it and you could buy a place. I mean, we came here in 2000. I choked on 375. Yeah, now I got a 1 in front of it. 23 years later, but hey, I mowed the lawn and I painted the house. So, I mean, it's worth $1 million more. But it's the greatest investment you can have. Hold on to it. If you don't have to sell it, don't. And if you, yes.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
But what's the supply-demand situation? Because I see a whole bunch of new condos going up.
Sure.
Which tells me there's more supply. So does that mean the prices have been suppressed for the older building?
No?
No?
Okay. Here's my response.
Yeah.
2,900 homes, Artesia, Inglewood, Manhattan Beach, Aviation. 2,900. You want to know how many are for sale right now? 2,900, take a guess.
29.
13,
Including the new ones? Including the new ones?
including the new ones. 3 of them are over 2 million.
Okay.
But there's only 10. But there's only 10 that I would consider reasonable, for our neighborhood. So supply and demand. Our average days on market right now are 9. So if you put it on the market, you better be ready to go. But don't go, please. There isn't any place else in the country. I lived in Minnesota. Yeah, we got 99 below zero with wind chill. Come on. I don't care what you're wearing. That's freaking cold. Rhode Island for 14 years, and North Carolina, my dad was in the Marine Corps, so I moved all over. But there just isn't any place that's like this, despite Sacramento and, and all the other things that go on. So anyway, that's enough of the soapbox.
Thanks, Bill.
But,
Thanks for
yeah.
sponsoring our coffee and
All right.
donuts and everything.
How much is the cup of coffee?
Gary, do you have an announcement?
Unanimous.
Come up here.
Oh, no.
We want to document it on Facebook.
You want it documented.
Yes, we're transparent with NRBBA.
Well, all of you all won by 100%.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
You want to
Thank
take
you.
this?
Yep, thank you so
Because we
much.
got some signatures in there.
Oh, but does this person who wrote a little X here want to join the advisory board?
Oh, she didn't even turn it in.
Oops. Uh-oh. Here we go, the dissenting vote. Oh, yay!
No, actually, there's 3 or 4 people who signed the advisory
Oh, okay.
board. So you look at them.
Okay.
I don't know if you were going to choose 1, 2.
Well,
whatever.
we'll talk to them.
There you go.
Thank you very
Anyway,
much.
all right.
Thank you, Gary. So one of the things that NRBBA does to support our community is we have a $1,000 scholarship to a Redondo Union High School student who is moving on to college to study business and lives in North Redondo Beach. And Michelle Brown, come on up here. Michelle Brown and I were fortunate enough to go on Monday to the Redondo Union High School Scholarship Award celebration. and we met Allison Young, who is our recipient. Come on up, Allison.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Where are you going to school?
Allison is going to UC Santa Cruz, and she's just going to give us a quick overview of her plans and what she's passionate about. Thank you, Allison.
Hi, so I'm Allison, you can call me Allie. I'm going to UC Santa Cruz. I think I'm gonna double major. I got into the proposed major of game design initially, but I also I did want to go into business. So I think I'm gonna double major in computer science, game design, and business, and then also minor in electronic music, because another one of my passions is music. I'm a singer-songwriter. I think definitely my top dream I'm gonna do as a side thing, but I really want to be able to just make music for people and kind of just share that with people. And then also growing up, video games was a huge part of my life. It really just kind of, I found a lot of friends and a community while playing video games. And then also, even though since I'm a girl playing video games, it's not very common. I kind of in the video game industry, I know it's not very common for just women in the industry as a general whole. So I kind of want to change that, and two, kind of just be part of the process of game development and kind of share the same experience that I had growing up, because like I said, it was a huge part of my life. And I think, especially with how where technology's going, I know that technology's the future, and I kind of just want to ride on that train. And hopefully I have a lot of big goals for sure, but I think I can get it done.
You
Awesome.
can. And NRBBA is here to support you all the way, even on past college, and we want to hear from you. Okay? And Allie just set up her LinkedIn page last night. So if anybody wants to link with her, we can help her start her networking journey in her business life.
Yeah.
What was it last name?
Young. Allison Young. Alyson. Allison Young. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you.
Okay.
Curious, what district she lives in?
North Redondo.
Five?
I don't know. What's your address?
Do you want to vote for
Where?
Yeah.
I think that's,
District 5.
5.
Yeah.
That's 5.
yeah, you're in the zone.
Hi, Grace.
Good.
Okay, so now on to, thank you everybody for helping out with all of that. Now on to our big presentation. We have Kelly Stroman, who is the Managing Director of Friendship Foundation. And Kelly is going to tell us about, I think, the biggest construction project, definitely in North Redondo, if not just all of Redondo Beach, and a little bit about what the Friendship Foundation does and all the great programs we have. So welcome, Kelly.
Thank you, Mickey.
Okay.
Let me pull this up. Let's see.
Can you zoom this?
That's good?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me here this morning.
I need you to hug the wall a little bit. There you go. There you go. That's it.
How huggy?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me, am I still huggy enough?
Yep, you're perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. I'm Kelly Stroman. I am the Managing Director of the Friendship Foundation here in Redondo Beach. I know many of you from my current role. I also know many of you from my previous role, which was the CEO of the Manhattan Beach Chamber of Commerce, and maybe even before that too. So it's a pleasure to be back kind of in the business fold here. Thank you for having me. The Friendship Foundation, I'm going to give you a little bit of who we are, what we've done over the last 17 years, and where we are headed. And I'm happy to answer any questions about the Friendship Campus or the Friendship Foundation. So the Friendship Foundation was founded over 17 years ago. Our current location is in Redondo Beach, just off of Vail and Artesia Boulevard. We've been there for all that time. And we serve individuals ages 8 to 35 and over. We don't cut off at 35. with intellectual and developmental disabilities, otherwise known as IDD. There's plenty of terms out there. Everybody asks, how do you refer to these individuals? There's many different ways. Special needs, disability, we've heard it all. Intellectual and developmental disabilities covers the spectrum from autism to Down syndrome to cerebral palsy to it all, basically. We don't turn anybody away based on their ability or their age. So we started off 17 years ago with just 8 individuals and 22 volunteers here in the South Bay. Some of the volunteers were family members, friends, siblings, and then the 8 participants who had anywhere from autism to Down syndrome. They went to their respective high schools, Miracosta, Redondo, and PV at the time, and convinced their principals to start what was called friendship clubs on their campus in their high schools. Very much like a soccer club or a social club or whatever it are. The high schools now have hundreds and hundreds of clubs to gather and bring the students together. So at the time, the first one to start was Miracosta, then PV, and then Redondo, 17 years ago. 8 kids, 22 volunteers. Now, fast forward to today, we are in over 53 schools at the elementary, middle, and high school level, all throughout the greater South Bay. We are also into Inglewood, Carson, Long Beach. We have a few state chapters that we picked up during the pandemic when people were looking for online programs and resources and help to give what is really the most underserved population a chance to get through the pandemic and beyond. So we are very robust. We started with those friendship clubs. That is the genesis, that is the roots of who we are. And along the way, we started adding programs to our cadre of services. So the programs that we offer, in addition to the school-sanctioned friendship clubs, are during the day for older adults. A lot of the kids who started with us in high school 17 years ago, who were 15, 16, 17, are now in their mid-30s, which is why we do not cut off at any age. Those programs range from sports, athletics, cooking, reading, languages, arts, dance, theater, all sorts of things. And then we have after-school programs, not at the school, but after-school hours that we offer. Our programs are offered on Zoom and in person. So during the pandemic, like everybody else, we went 100% Zoom. We found that served a lot of people, and we were able to attract more people and give people connectivity that maybe couldn't drive to a program, maybe that live in Arizona, or they live, in Newport Beach or La Habra or somewhere. They can now join us online for all of our different programs. So we have over 60 programs a month between the online and the Zoom programs, again, for all ages. And then we also offer a 6-week summer camp, which starts in just a couple weeks. And the 6-week summer camp is a mashup of everything we do. It's a mashup of all those kids, all those student volunteers, all the programs we do. And this year it will be at Grandview Elementary School in Manhattan Beach. We usually lease out a space until we build our campus. We are in need of space, and that will see over 100 kids a week for summer camp activities. Again, everything from sports and cooking, social life skills, you name it, art, we do it. We bring in vendors, we do dance, we do all sorts of things. So, started with the school clubs, developed programs that are both still in effect today, and then what's next? Well, what's next is the Friendship Campus that we are building right down the street on Inglewood Avenue and in the Franklin Park community. Let me just zip through to... Let me go back for 1 second. This is the location map of all of our school clubs currently. You can see that we also have some of the state chapters that tune in online, and we coach them online. The school clubs are like a mentor buddyship on campus, and we allow each school, we kind of give them the template, and we coach them and work with them, but we allow them to adapt the theme and the tone of the club to their individual school. Every school has a little bit different personality and tone. So we help coach them and bring the neurotypical and the neurodiverse communities together. This is a rendering of the Friendship Campus that is currently under construction. Gensler is our architect. They are good friends of the foundation and have been with us for many, many years. So they gracefully designed a gorgeous building that will be a beacon, I think, in the South Bay. I think this project here will be the next big project in Redondo Beach. But we're thrilled to kind of clean up and liven up the Franklin Park community. Yes, right now it's dusty and it's noisy, but eventually it will be beautiful. So this is the street view from Inglewood Avenue. This is like 190th over here. This is going north this way. There will be in the main entrance, there's a Friendship Cafe that will be served with individuals who we will teach how to work in a kitchen, how to cook, how to serve, and they'll greet you as you come in. There'll be a massive 5,000 square foot.
Is that the cafe? Can we all go to the cafe?
Yes, yes. The cafe will be open to the public. You will not need to be a student or a parent or coming to the facility for a program. You can stop by. You can even have your meetings maybe there too. Yeah, that's an open invitation for a couple years from now. But we wanted everything will be kind of a 360 model of offering, teaching, employing individuals with IDD and student-led volunteers and young workers too. So this is the main entrance, this is the Creative Arts Studio, and then it'll wrap around with other facilities too. This is the Academy lobby to the left. There'll be a K-5 school, private school, part of the Growing Garden that is in Redondo Beach now. We'll move over to here because they are busting at the seams with growth. So the left side, far left side, northern side will be a K-5 private academy. And then this is the main entrance and reception and cafe. Again, these are just renderings, so it just gives you kind of a snapshot look of what it looks like. But you enter in, the cafe will be to the left, will be breakfast and lunch. At this point, we have no plans for dinner. It will be kind of, a light food, a grab and go, come in, sit down, have a quick meal, and hang out or get on your way with your day. Over here is the Creative Arts Studio that I mentioned. So as you come in, whether you're passing through to another classroom or hanging out in the cafe, you can see what's happening in the Creative Arts Studio. Look through here, and this is what you will see, this big creative space. Again, it's 5,000 square feet, so this picture doesn't do it justice. But you'll always be able to see what's happening within the campus. All different types of art, from traditional arts to digital arts. We have behind this wall right here is a sound studio and a mixing studio, so we'll have audio visual arts. We will have, there's a ceramic kiln on the outside. Every different type of art, level of art, and age of student can come in here. We also have multi-generational programs, so we're not just an 8-year-old through 18-year-old. We will have programs for the adults within our programs, and then even multi-generational. We will have seniors that will come in and also help teach the classes too. This is Innovation Lab, minus the computers at the moment. We have partnered with a very interesting man from Vanderbilt University in Tennessee. He grew up here, Dr. Kayvon Stassen. Dr. Stassen by day is an astrophysicist, works with NASA, teaches at Vanderbilt, lovely man, grew up in Venice and then in the Valley. And he has a young adult son who is 17, who lives with autism. So in Dr. Stassen's spare time, he has created fascinating AI technologies to help coach and teach individuals, particularly on the spectrum, how to train and get jobs. He even has a driving simulator that helps highly functioning autistic individuals get their driver's license, because it's scary enough for any of us to take a driving test, whether it's written or in person, let alone for somebody who has a disability or any type of sensory needs too. So we've partnered with him. We will be the first location on the West Coast to have his technology and his simulators, all working towards vocational job placement in the community. This is the inner courtyard, the main courtyard. Everything in the campus, you have to traverse through the courtyards to get from one room to the other. There's no hallways, so everything is very social. So if you come in through the main courtyard, you're going to come out into this courtyard. This is the gymnasium over here. When these doors are slid open for the gymnasium, this becomes a 10,000 square foot event space, indoor, outdoor event space. These big pods will not be here. It'll be a little bit more open than that. But again, we'll be hosting events, doing things and teaching our individuals how to set up, how to cater, how to greet, and be a part of the event world. This is the inside of the gymnasium. Again, it can double as a gymnasium, high ceilings, so we can play volleyball, basketball, or host meetings and events in there. There is some stadium seating over here to the left side, and again, when open, it opens up out into that courtyard. This is a typical classroom space. Classes will vary everything from the private academy to, on the other side of the building, we have a financial empowerment academy that we've developed. So we're going to be teaching these individuals what money is, how to use money. If we're going to be teaching them how to get a job, guess what? They need to know how to use their money. We did a really interesting survey with parents. We have thousands of people in our participant database, and the parents, it was very interesting to see their response. Most of them kind of control their money through digital means, but almost every single one didn't understand, or they've had problems or overspending with digital currency. So we're going to incorporate Apple Pay, Venmo, Zelle, you buying apps, all of that. We have stories of kids buying thousands of dollars of apps in 1 month because they didn't understand, their budget, and that money just goes poof out the door. And interesting enough, when we launched this this fall, actually, we're going to launch a pilot program. We have neurotypical parents asking us if their kids can be a part of it too, because our kids don't get, and I think we can all relate to that. So again, we'll have volunteers, neurotypical, working with the neurodiverse, so both parties work. This is the Culinary Institute. So in addition to the commercial kitchen with the Friendship Cafe, there'll be a complete Culinary Institute in the back southeast corner of the property. Annette is anxious to get her hands into this and the commercial kitchen. We've talked had some conversations, but this just begs for classes. So it will teach everything from life skills for the basic learner, how to cook for yourself, the very basic skills, up to how to cook for others, how to cook for your family, even how to be a chef, how to read a recipe, write a recipe. Out here on this corner, there will be a growing garden type of arrangement, so they'll learn how to plant, care, harvest, cook seasonally, bring it in and use it in the kitchen. Again, all ages, 8 and up, including, we could have classes there. We can do multi-generational classes. Pardon me?
Can I take a class?
Yes, we're gonna, you don't have to be neurodiverse to take classes here. We're filling the gaps with many other classes too, yes.
Would this also be, you mentioned before you're gonna use the space for events, and would this also be a catering kitchen if you were to bring an event in? Or?
That's a great question. This will not be a catering kitchen. The commercial kitchen that's attached to the Friendship Cafe, which I didn't show a rendering of that, is actually quite large, and that will be that can be used as a catering kitchen for the events too. I would imagine if they need a little extra space or something, they can use this, because this would be off the opposite end of the courtyard. But that's not the intent of it. It really is for learning. It will be wired with all your cameras and mirrors and everything. So we can also broadcast out. We have a lot of local chefs. We have an amazing talent of chefs in the South Bay and beyond who are lining up and just waiting to come and work with us and teach and empower the youth in the community. This is the multi-purpose room. There's many other rooms like this, maker space, libraries. Everything is very minimalistic, open. There's a lot of sensory fabrics and elements to the building for the neurodiverse that have a lot of sensory issues. We will have sensory decompression rooms where somebody really is having, a day or a moment. We have carefully planned out, thoughtful rooms that they can go in and kind of, readjust, recalibrate. I was just going to say, including myself, yes, by Thursdays at 3 o'clock, you're ready, right? Anytime. So there's a lot of very thoughtful innovation going in all throughout the campus. This is kind of a view, if you take off the second story of the campus, you can see the 2 courtyards. This is kind of an abbreviated soccer field, not a full-length soccer field. This will be an adaptive playground over here. To the back here, this is Franklin Park. Those are those pickleball courts that always, are going here. There's basketball courts. So this is our property line where we are. Obviously, it will, I think, enhance the park in the community. This is the entrance off of Fisk, exit off of Ralston, Inglewood Avenue. The current entrance, or was when this was the school before, was here off of Inglewood. We all know how dangerous that is now. It's just crazy. So the city has asked us and demanded, and rightfully so, that we create entrance here, exit here, and exit out onto Inglewood Avenue.
Will you be fenced off from the park, or will it be open into the park?
That's a great question. We're in those conversations right now. There are a couple different sets of renderings, to be honest with you, that have fencing all the way around for security reasons and just for kids not running into the street. There's another set of renderings that keeps the fencing just hugging the physical, property, not the parking. Great ongoing conversations about fencing on the backside versus kind of greenscape that creates a natural barrier. Okay, there's not a final answer on that yet. We would like to be able to just create that barrier with landscaping. We're looking to see that viability and if that will work. There are several security doors and entrances. So, for instance, if there isn't gating on the backside, each of these doors and exits have fob entry and stuff too. So it will keep the building hopefully secure at that point too. There'll be a special entrance over here for individuals in the transition program. We will be taking on the transition program for Redondo Beach Unified School District, which is the individuals 18 to 22 years old who are not ready or able to be mainstreamed or go to college. Once we are fully operational, we will take on that program for the district, about 14 individuals a year. They will be able to utilize all the campus, all the facilities for their life skills training until they age out at age 22. There was a question, so yes.
That area, the Inglewood, is like a complete mess, just like 40,000 cars every day, or 20-something thousand cars every day. And when you're trying to navigate it by bike, because I sent my daughter by bike to Adams Middle School and she wants to visit friends on the other side, you can't get through. It's so disconnected, and there are only stoplights at 182nd and Ralston. Now, kids, and so they lack connectivity, and currently kids have to go over through the park, wind through all the thing, and you're offering them like a parking lot. That's a direct route. That's kind of scary. Is there any thought to, on the park side, giving them a straight thoroughfare on the park side for the bikes and for wheelchairs and stuff like that, so that it's a direct path instead of through your parking lot, so that kids won't be tempted to go through your parking lot?
That's a great question. And I love doing the presentations because every time a new thought or question comes up that we haven't maybe heard before. So there has not been a conversation about that. If any modifications are made to the park, that would be up to the city and to the school district. You've got your city councilman here, Paige is in the back. I'm outing you back there, Paige. She snuck in. But I know the residents of Franklin Park in that community have been very vocal, nicely vocal, about really keeping the park the way it is. So I don't know that there's any plans for modifying the trails through the park. I think also it would be difficult to make it straight through because the property line does jog out here around this.
Right, but just straighter than currently, because currently it's like winding all over the place and it puts you in the middle of a playground. But if you could just have a straighter, more direct path that is not your parking lot.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I can circle back on that.
Come
after
on.
you wanna
Okay.
touch on that.
Okay.
Why don't you finish and then
Okay.
I can answer your question.
Okay. I also think there are a request from the city in our original plans to widen the sidewalk on Inglewood because it's kind of, it's narrow, it's old, and it also dips down. There's elevation differences here too. So there is a request for us to widen the sidewalk and make it maybe a little bit safer for strollers, bicycles, or whatever to, if somebody is cutting through on this area too, okay? Okay. Next picture is of the outdoor terrace on the second level. So about 2/3 of the campus will have a second level to it. Our offices and some other meeting rooms will be on this side. There's therapy and transitional occupational therapy rooms on the second floor. And then towards the park side, the multi-generational center will be here. Beautiful space with open, sliding open doors to an outdoor terrace that can be used not just by the multi-generational, seniors, but also by the entire campus. Rooftop yoga, gathering, social, or just kind of, a wellness space too. That will open up into this area. Again, it can look out over to the park right there. And that is the entire site plan. People always ask us about parking. These are all the parking spots. There's actually more parking planned into the facility than there was when it was just the original school. Yes, we can't prevent people from parking on the street and doing things. We will have plenty of parking, we believe, but human nature, people will park where they want to park, and people are going to cut through the park where they want to and do things too. But it's very carefully and thoughtfully planned out with one-way directional flow through here. Let's see, that is the bottom layout kind of by room, including the gymnasium in the middle. This is the second floor, the therapy rooms, our partners' offices, all of our offices and conference room over here, wellness rooms, sensory rooms, and then this is that multi-generational center and out to the terrace. And that's it at nighttime. So at this shot, you can see a better view. This is Fisk, Inglewood, the back side of the park, and cutting over to Ralston. Yes?
How do you support yourself?
How do we support ourselves? Great. How do we support ourselves, and how do we support the building of this campus?
You want to put a number on what that building is?
Individuals like you help. Yes, so that's a great question. So the current price tag is much more than it was even a year ago. We started off at $32 million, all in, to build this completely, all costs. A year ago, that price, literally a year ago, April, the price was $40 million. Went to 42 by about May, June, and by the end of August, it was upwards of 55 million because of the world and cost and supply. Aluminum, glass, and steel, which there's a lot of, obviously, in this building, has gone sky high. And we have to pay prevailing wage because it sits on the district property ground too. So when we found that out, prevailing wage is significantly more than a normal construction wage too. So our price tag, all in, everything, including the legal, the planning, the architecture, everything is 55, and furnishing it is 55 million. Construction is hovering around 41 million. We are working diligently, literally every day in conversations with VE, trying to work those prices down. Where we've gone from just pure construction from about 46 million, we're down a little bit shy of 41 million right now. Our goal is to get it to 39. Fiascosi, our founder, 39,99999. He wants a 3 in front of that number. And we are working and using every possible angle, and creative angle to get there. Yes, sir.
Do you have an idea of, I imagine parents have to pay to have their kids in that school, right? Do you have an idea of what it's going to cost them?
I do not. I don't have a price yet for that. The transition program that we're taking on for Redondo School District will be the first program that will be funded through the state, which is what it is now through the school district. We will be able, once we get that done and we're running it properly and servicing the Redondo School District properly, and we feel effectively and better than what it is even now, we will hopefully take on other districts or individuals from the outside who have an interest in moving their children to this facility for those transitional life skills services. We get requests all the time. We have people from out of state actually considering moving here. Where was the real estate conversation? Moving here just so their kids can go to this facility. We get it all the time. Our programs that we currently operate now, that I spoke with at the beginning, that will also move into this facility. Everything we do now will be then housed in the facility. Those programs we charge nominal fees for. We are funded, getting back to the funding question, we are funded through nominal costs for certain programs, scholarships, grants, donations. That is true for the capital campaign for this. We have currently raised about $45 million out of the $55 million that we are aiming towards. Is all privately funded. We don't want any loans if we can avoid it, because that's money out of the pocket, out of the programs and what have you. We have about $9-10 million to go. We have a lot of conversations out there and things that we're working on. We have donations literally anywhere from $100 to $5 million and plus too. There are corporations involved, there's individuals involved. We have a very, very generous community and beyond, people outside of the community who are very interested in making this literally the platinum standard with everything that we're offering. Yes?
Just curious, van and bus drop off?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Where would you have the van and bus drop off, right in front?
The van?
On the side?
So
a lot of these people have transportation involved.
Right. So right now, we don't have our own transportation. That will be something that we'll be hopefully adding down the road. There are a lot of grants, federal and state grants for transportation. Currently, we don't necessarily need it right now for our current program, so we'll be looking at it down the road. The transition program will be dropping off right here, and they'll use this little pathway to enter into the side of the building. They're welcome to come through the main part of the building, but they'll have their own entrance, which some of those individuals prefer. But everything will actually come into the property to drop off. Thus, if the fencing is completely around, there'll be gates here and gates here too. Yes?
Did you give us a time frame?
Yes, I didn't give you the time frame, but thank you for asking. So we started construction in February of this year. It took us 19 months to get our permit from the state. They technically are state permits because we're on school land. We are finishing phase 1, already working into phase 2 of compacting the dirt. You have to dig the dirt up, down like 15 feet, compact it 8 inches at a time by pad. So when the foundation goes on, it's on solid footing and it's tested every 8 inches along the way. So we've gone through pad 1, 2, and 3. They're currently working on pad 4. They're expecting to finish that in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then they'll start doing a lot of the utility underground work, eventually laying the foundation towards the end of summer or early fall. Estimated completion of the entire thing and move-in is the summer of 2025, 2 years from now. That's realistic. If you ask some, they'll say, oh, it's going to be finished by March. Okay. Yeah, it's, summer of 2025 is the estimated date. Hopefully, by the fall of 2025, we'll be taking on those transition students and fully offering. Yes?
So, once this is complete, what is the ongoing cost to you? Do you estimate, because obviously you have ongoing fundraising all the time to keep the upkeep and the running of it. Once you've raised the $9 million for your capital campaign,
right?
Moving forward after that, do you have an idea of what it would cost?
Yeah, I don't have that number yet. There's many different factors in that because there's different partners that we're bringing in for different programs. There's several different funding sources between the private academy over here, the transition, all of our programs. I don't have that number yet.
Staffing
Yeah, it'll be a lot. We have our lease back deal with the district is basically 99 years. We have the extension. We have a very favorable lease agreement with the district because we are making improvements to this land and taking on their transition program. But it's going to be quite a bit. So our fundraising is always ongoing, always has been, and always will be. Once it's actually open, we will be able to access more grants that are available, that are not available now for the construction, that are for the programs.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm a fundraiser, so I understand.
Yeah. Yes.
Todd?
Yeah, I just, talk about had not determined where the fencing is in the parking whole situation. I think the consideration should possibly be to have the fencing not around the parking lot simply because then some of the residents in that neighborhood could potentially use that as overflow parking at night when the facility is not being used. I live right now South Redondo in a place where the parking is absolutely horrendous and I sometimes have to walk 2 blocks to my place that I live at from where I can find parking. So I think that trying to open up the parking to as many opportunities as possible, kind of like the parking at Dominguez Park, where they let the residents of all the apartments that are by park in the parking lot at night. So.
Thank you. It's a well said comment. I know the city Parks and Rec calls us often if they can use. Before it was all torn down, if they could use the parking for some of their events. At the time, the answer was an easy yes because it was there until it all got fenced off for construction. Right now, they can't do that. Obviously, it's an active construction site. But I hear you on that, and thank you.
I would like to make one other quick announcement. Chef Annette found out that Kelly was coming, and she made one of her favorite treats, apricot pastries. So I think those are, I don't know if they're out already.
Yeah,
They're out.
still some left.
Yeah, so thank you. Someone take one aside for me and put it in a napkin.
They're delicious.
I ate yours already.
I know. I had a preview in my office earlier this week, and she's an amazing. You're so talented. You're so thoughtful, Ned.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
They're delicious.
Paige Kalyajetovich. Did you see how that rolled off my tongue?
Yeah. The trick is you can't read it, you just have to
Say it. Yeah. So Paige came a little bit late, but
Yes,
I know you want
apologize.
to address.
It's the last day of Redondo Beach Unified School today.
Oh, today's the last day of
That's
school.
today's the last day of school.
Yeah. You wanted to tell us a little bit about the park comment?
Yes. Well, first, the Friendship Foundation, my daughters and my mom went to the was it Newsies that they did?
Yes.
Loved it. It was amazing.
What was it?
Newsies. We do 1 to 2 theatrical performances a year with our participants and student volunteers with a group called Anchorless Productions, which is all student run, mostly out of Miracosta. There are some other kids from Redondo that are involved in it. And they take our kids through 5.5 months of practice and rehearsals and up into a major performance of which Paige and her children attended. Gosh, when in January? It feels like it was so long ago.
Yeah, and then they hadn't seen the production before, and so they immediately came home and watched that, but they loved it, so it was great. I highly recommend checking it out. They're also going to be doing one of the summer camps.
Volunteering.
The volunteering, yep. So we look forward to that. So for the park, you had a question about the path. We are opening, or I'm going to host a meeting with the community about the park. It needs to have some upgrades already. The trellises that are there, the wood is completely damaged and needs to be replaced. There's some concrete columns that also need to be replaced. There's been a discussion about the basketball courts currently have opposing hoops. That was by design originally, and as you said, there's the park was designed originally by residents in that neighborhood. I believe 1983.
A long time ago.
Yes, one of the residents sent me the blueprints. Like, it is a very treasured space. They designed the pathways, the mounds, the trees, specific about the plants that go there. So it has been intentional, but it has been decades. So there's we're going to open up the conversation to what improvements, what's best representing the community that is there now. So we would love to have you there. We can talk about a bike path or how that works with the community. We have also had some residents talking about the compaction, and I know you've been really responsive about that. Thank you so much. And it is temporary. This is normal construction with this type of project.
When you compact dirt 8 inches at a time, guess what it does? It vibrates. It vibrates the whole area. It's not the first construction project, in the South Bay, but and we all live kind of on very loose soil in this area.
Right.
So
yeah. You can imagine that is disruptive to the neighbors, but it is temporary, and it's almost finished.
It is. Hopefully, the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
You also mentioned widening the sidewalks. I mean, if you widen it from 6 feet to 10 feet, then you have a multi-use path, and people can roll on that multi-use path. Because, I mean, the first time I saw a mobility tricycle was, like, I had a student that rode, like, how on University of Colorado campus, it's dismount zone only. But they let the student with cerebral palsy ride his tricycle from class to class. And so he just rode on the multi-use path, as long as they were wide enough to pass.
Right, right.
I would assume that if you're widening it at the city's request, the city will participate financially and help make specific.
Assuming this hasn't been brought to the discussion yet, but
this is also, Inglewood Avenue is also governed by Caltrans. It's one of those major thoroughfares through the stuff like Sepulveda is, or PCH, wherever you are,
Yes.
And Caltrans is very much a part of this too. But thank you for saying that. We have it on camera, and I'll replay that snippet.
And we might be able to tap Metro to help with that, right?
ATP funds.
Bike paths. Since Torrance isn't going to participate in bike paths, might as well put it in Redondo.
Yes, Scott.
Hi, Gage. Where exactly is this again? It's on
This is
Vale and what?
No, this is Inglewood, and this
Inglewood
is
Avenue?
Fisk and Ralston. So we're up here by the Galleria. This is south from there. This is Inglewood.
So this is the stoplight here. This is just a rendering. So the stoplight at Ralston and Inglewood is right here. This is Fisk Lane to the south. 190th is another 2 blocks this way over here. And then the school district building is over to this direction here. We are currently, our current office is on Vale, off of Artesia.
Okay, it's a little bit after 9 right now, and I really try to keep the meetings, have them end on time. But Kelly is here, Paige is here, if you have any other questions to ask them.